It's time to update my resume because tonight I'm becoming a biscuiteer. Most of you already know, we know our way around a carb, but we don't know everything. And so Callie's Hot Little Biscuit, which is a local biscuit chain, they've offered everybody a Zoom class to learn how to make their famous biscuits. So you paid $20 online, and then they send you a little biscuit kit if you don't live in town, or if you do live in town, you can just go pick it up. They give you 2 packages of their buttermilk biscuit mix and then a little biscuit cutter. We're going to log on at 6 o'clock and connect to her Zoom class, and the owner is going to show us how to make her biscuits. Now, I was originally planning on doing a live stream, but apparently we have to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to do that, and we aren't there yet. So there's your cue. Hit subscribe so we can do live streams, because I have a lot of ideas that I want to share with you guys. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're commenting, because that's what's going to get us there. I went ahead and made Story and Tim a lasagna so they can stay out of my hair and out of the kitchen while I do this class. There's about 30 minutes now until the class starts, so I'm going to go ahead and get out my ingredients that they had on the list. So I think it said, yeah, we have to have our own butter, cream cheese, buttermilk, and heavy cream, and then a rolling pin and a pan and all that stuff. So I'm going to get all that out and get it ready, and then try to log into Zoom, because I am not an expert on that. I have not used it much at all, maybe once or twice to talk to my friends, but I don't know what I'm doing, so that's going to take a minute. Alright, my surface is sanitized. I've got my little silicone baking mat here. By the way, I don't know if IKEA still has this. I got this a few years ago, but it is absolutely wonderful. What is this called? It has all of your equivalents right here in case you don't know how to translate something. It's got these fun little shapes that you can use, I guess, as outlines if you want to do like some, I don't even know, chocolate things. I'm not sure. And then on the other side, it's got some fun shapes and numbers and stuff you can trace. I don't really use it for that. I just like it for just the rubber surface because it doesn't move. So whenever I'm rolling out my dough, it stays in one place. My mop is in a bun. I've got my apron. I'm about ready. I just have to get out my buttermilk and my cream cheese and my heavy cream and my butter. All the cold stuff. I gotta get that out. Biscuit mix, check. Buttermilk, check. Heavy cream, check. Butter, check. Cream cheese, check. Rolling pin, parchment paper, mixing bowl, check. I actually did not know that this little biscuit cutter was going to come in the kit, so I bought my own, and there's like 3 or 4 different sizes. This is, I'll give you one guess where this came from. Yeah, you know. I think I'm actually going to preheat my oven to 400 because I read ahead and saw that that's what it was supposed to be. And the last thing I want to do is forget to do it and have biscuits with nowhere to go. We're already off to a great start because I'm preheating the oven, and some of the lasagna earlier was dripping down into the bottom of the oven, so it's smoking now, and it's probably going to set off the smoke detector. But one thing I did learn in college was to do everything you can before a class so you can go in ahead. So that's what I'm doing. It said I needed 6 tablespoons of butter divided, 4 tablespoons and then 2, and then 2 ounces of cream cheese. So I have that ready to go so I don't have to fiddle-faddle with it and getting it open and everything. I have my parchment paper on my pan, and I have my cup of buttermilk. 6 o'clock, it's go time. Just waiting on teacher to let us in the classroom. I really hope I'm doing this right. Like somebody's talking on here, so I think I am. But it's 6 o'clock. 6:01.
I love it. Some very nice kitchens I'm seeing.
This is the perfect thing to do around this time of day because then you'll have hot biscuits for supper.
Yes.
Can they see me? I don't know what's happening.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, everyone. We are going to get started. So welcome, and thanks everyone for being here. We're also excited to do this. I mean, who doesn't love biscuits? So, but just in case, we like to go over a couple quick things, all right? So the usual, definitely ask
They're telling us
questions
how to
in the
use
chat.
Zoom.
Chat to share anything you need. Ask questions. We are monitoring that, so we'll definitely make sure we get those answered. If you're comfortable,
It's a good thing I'm not doing this live on YouTube because it would be a complete disaster.
Information for that there. And you can also find we're able to make this a national event as well.
Today we're going to make, I hope everybody has your buttermilk biscuit mix. And
Check.
you have a heavy cream and a buttermilk. So you're just going to go ahead and mix that together right now.
Oh,
And that's really
do I not need mine?
Here you go.
Oh, I need to put mine away. We're not using this. Here's the family.
Hey!
Hi, your clip came out. Ask Daddy to fix it. Fix it, please.
Okay.
First things first, make buttermilk by adding either a little bit of vinegar or lemon juice to whole milk.
She's talking about making your own buttermilk, which we know how to do now.
Really, however you have it, and if you're on the fly and you just pull it out of the refrigerator, that's fine too. I use salted butter because to me biscuits are super savory. And I like salt, but if you don't like salt or you need to watch your salt intake, then by all means use unsalted butter. As you can see, I am just picking up the flour and the butter, and I'm what I call pinching it into the flour. So you can feel this flour is super fine. It is soft and delicate, feels so great. And as you move the butter into the flour, the texture is going to change a little bit. But you'll notice that I'm already starting to get what I call finely grated Parmesan cheese. That's the texture I'm looking for, and I'm looking for the bigger pieces, and I'm pinching those and moving those in the flour. Now there's a lot of school of thought on biscuit making and how your butter has to be frozen, and you need to grate it in, and we just don't subscribe to that method. There's a million ways to make biscuits. Biscuits are the bread of the South. They are one of the first breads that came to our country. So, everybody has their own way. And the reason I started this business over 16 years ago was because I realized that nobody was making biscuits by hand anymore. And I grew up watching my grandmother and mom do this. And we had them as a quick bread. They were made right before we had every meal. So they came out of the oven and they were hot. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. And I think a lot of people in America think of biscuits only for breakfast. But for me, I grew up eating them more for supper as the bread on the table than I did for breakfast. So try them for more than just breakfast. In addition to the flour and the fat, here at Callie's we add double the fat, which is not required, but we love cream cheese. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the cream cheese the same way that I added the butter. I'm just going to pinch it off into the flour, and then I'm going to incorporate it. So now I'm making a well in the center. So just so you know when we're starting to steam that. I have shaken whole buttermilk, and I'm going to use approximately 2 cups and go from there, and I can just look at it. And I actually like to use one hand to incorporate, but you can also use 2 and have a friend help you. As soon as I see that it's coming together, I stop mixing. Okay? And you're going to just do the same thing, turn it over, incorporate it, find your dry spots. And I think it's good for you to measure in the beginning, but trust your gut on the look and the feel over the measure. Also, if you wanted to experiment and search up your buttermilk biscuit and add cheese or fruit or meat or herbs, you could do that before you add the liquid. So the liquid is the last thing to go. Sprinkled over the top, around the sides, and I'm going to put a little bit more around and tuck it under. And that is, you're going to want to touch it and get in there and get it going. Because this is perfect dough. It's like down exactly what jam biscuits that everybody loves and goes crazy for, and you've never sold them. You can't be a caterer forever. I think that we should take your biscuit recipe and you make them. I will run the business, market them, sell them, and we can sell them online. She still to this day thinks that I'm absolutely crazy, and she cannot believe that this little biscuit, this country ham biscuit that she used to make for catered parties, has now blossomed into this biscuit business, which is Callie's Hot Little Biscuit. Around and around and around, you do that until you're out of dough or you have to re-roll. what if I get stuff in the cutter? See, I didn't even go back to my dough. We put our biscuits touching on the pan because biscuits rise taller when they have their friends next to each other. Just like us, go figure. So think of it like a sheet cake. When they're next to each other, they're all going to bake at the same rate. They're touching, and they actually will not be perfectly round anymore. They will almost be square. And back up, straight down, and back up. And then I actually need another tray, but we can do that in a minute. All right, so I've got 3 left over, and then I've got this dough. Let me show you what I mean by how this is the first rollout.
Okay, here is what I got. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 12. Not too bad for 2 cups of flour. And I'm gonna brush it with butter.
I will tell you that if you decide to make a sweet biscuit, so before you add the liquid, let's say you don't want to do any of that. If you don't want to do any of that, then you can order Callie's Hot Little Biscuit because we make them fully. I mean, we have the mix, but then we make 7 or 8 flavors of fully baked and frozen and vacuum sealed biscuits. And cinnamon, buttermilk, sharp cheddar, cheese and chive, country ham, iced blueberry. So we make all the flavors, and all you have to do is wrap them in boiling the heat, and then you just put a little bit of flour on your face and tell everybody you did it, and you've been slaving away in the kitchen all day.
Okay, it's been 10 minutes, so I gotta rotate. Oh, look at my biscuits! Oh my god. They look like clouds. Okay.
San Diego. I've lived here my whole life. My parents live right down the street. This is where I grew up. Any of y'all that live in Charleston know the old village. You might know Pitt Street Pharmacy. That was my first job as a soda jerk.
My biscuits are done. Look.
So that'll be fun.
Look at all that carby goodness. Get on my thighs. That is a wrap. My biscuits are done. The family just flew through here, grabbed a row of biscuits, and inhaled them, and they loved them, and I did too. These turned out just like, I mean, why wouldn't they turn out just like Callie's Hot Little Biscuits? It was the exact recipe. We had her, biscuit mix. We used the buttermilk. Had the organic salted butter, the cream cheese. We did it just like she does it in her kitchen, and they turned out a-okay. And here's how they look. Like I said, we already ate a row of them, but look at how just like doughy and just so good. So now I have this disaster to clean up. Some dishes. I mean, luckily I can throw most of it in there, but some of this I have to hand wash. So I'm going to take care of that now. Just like that, all cleaned up. I'm just making some coffee real quick so I can throw it in the fridge for my iced coffee in the morning. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't know if I'm just new here and like I don't get on Zoom very much for any reason, but that was like a really fun experience. I learned a lot. I actually did learn a few things. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to mix the dough as much. So I don't know if you could hear her on the computer, but she was talking about how you barely want to handle the dough. I was always mixing it with a spoon, just kind of like folding it in, and apparently that's just too much. Also, I like how they were talking about how you put the biscuits close together on the pan. She talked about how, when you have your friends close by you can rise together, and that's kind of the same thing for a biscuit. You put them close together and they help each other rise. I like that. I really wish you were here to try these, like warm, fresh out of the oven, because they are so good. This is unrelated, but every time I film in here, because it's the only spot in the house to film at night with decent lighting, I always end up seeing these things up here. My husband, bless his heart, he likes to move things up high, thinking that I won't see them because I'm down here and I couldn't possibly see them up there. But they end up staying there because I don't want to get a ladder to get them down. Whatever. Anyways, these need to move. Back to the biscuits. I really like how when you paid for this class, they gave you 2 bags of the biscuit mix, so I could actually make this other bag And then they were talking about how you could add like different ingredients to the dough before you put the buttermilk in, just for like different flavors. So like ham, or you know, you could do sweet like with blueberries or some whatever. You can add things to it. So I think I might try that and just experiment a little bit. I just love these biscuits. I love that they add the cream cheese. It gives it just a little bit extra, I don't know, I think they called it an extra fat. That's why I like it. But anyways, this was so much fun. I'm glad that we did this. I had the thoughts of letting Story help me, but now I'm glad I didn't, because that would have been atrocious. So obviously our channel name is Battleground Biscuits, so I think it's pretty obvious that we love biscuits. We love carbs in general. But I wanted to experiment and try to find the best biscuit in Charleston, because there are several places that claim to have the best, and there are several places that people say they love the most. I took a poll. We have a Facebook group here in town called Low Country Eats, and everybody gets on there and they post about, you know, new restaurants that open, their reviews of places, just their favorite things in certain areas and all that kind of thing. So I forget how many, I think they just crossed 40,000 members on the page. So I posted on there just a question for everybody, and I wanted to know what everybody's favorite biscuit was. So I actually tallied up everybody's answers, and I got quite a few. And I have a little list, and Tim and I are going to go around town and try them all. We're going to try the local biscuit places, because some people did have things on there like Hardee's or Churches, or, you know, drive-through places like that, which they could be the best to them. But I really wanted to see like what Charleston had to offer. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be happening very, very soon. We have a lot of biscuits to try, so it's going to take a minute. I'm excited for it. I've been waiting for Tim to come back home so that we could start doing this test. And I know Story's going to love it, because she came in here and ate one of these biscuits I made tonight, and she goes, like biscuits, mama. Good biscuits. She just got out of the bathtub. She's getting ready to go to bed, so I need to finish up down here and then go tell her goodnight. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.